Proverbs 18:22. Whoever finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Hey, my name is Joe and this is my wife, Lori.
And we're excited to share segments with you about our journey in pursuing a biblical marriage.
And today we're looking at the question, what's so great about a marriage? You'll have a guaranteed date. And you get somebody to share inside jokes with.
Come on, son.
Come on, son.
Really?
What's so funny?
And you'll have somebody that will always be completely honest with you.
No.
Are you kidding me?
You get to experience new things.
And you get somebody to share your frustrations with. And when done correctly, you get your own encourager or cheerleader.
Good job, honey. You got this.
Thank you. All right, so those are some of the things that we enjoy about marriage. So put in the comments something that you guys like about marriage. And if you haven't done so already, be sure and like and subscribe. So Lord willing, as we put out new content about marriage, you'll get notified and you can jump right in and make comments there. So some of the things that we enjoyed about marriage that we highlighted there was, of course, companionship,
Right.
dating.
Right. And it's like you mentioned earlier in Proverbs 18. It's good for a man to find a wife. And the Lord saw Adam's need in the garden of how, it is not good for him to be alone. And so I think the Lord takes pleasure in our companionship.
Yep. So date your spouse, whether it's for a coffee date, a dinner date, just be intentional about dating. Inside jokes, I'm not sure where that falls biblically, but that's something that just goes along with the territory. We've been married for 24 years. And so you just get these things that nobody else around you is going to get, but you and your spouse.
Right.
So it's just a perk. Inside jokes. And then honesty.
Yeah, so honesty was probably my favorite clip because honesty can be a trigger in marriage. And if you're married, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I think it's important when you're dealing with honesty that you consider the fruits of the Spirit of gentleness and kindness and really be able to give and receive honesty with gentleness and kindness.
Yep. And it'll keep us husbands from stepping out and embarrassing ourselves sometimes. And then struggles. We doctored it up a little bit in the clip and we said, you get to try new things, but you share in your struggles.
Right, right. I think that's important. I think the Lord wants to use the spouse who is not struggling at the time. And so, keep in mind that when your spouse struggles, you're not to jump in and amp up that situation and then both get frustrated or both get upset at a person or a situation, but the Holy Spirit can use you to bring peace and wise counsel to your spouse in those situations and kind of diffuse things.
Yeah, because we're there to complement each other.
Right.
So if one of us is getting frustrated, then the other one needs to be there and bring them back down or lift them up, however you want to look at it. Because I've gotten frustrated working on a vehicle and you're there to just remind me, what? It's just a vehicle.
Right.
If we have to sell it and get another one, that's fine. If we need to pay a little bit of money to get it fixed so we can drive it for a little bit longer, that's fine too. So, because we understand that marriages aren't always like what you see on social media. We wanted to touch on what's so great about a marriage, and then Lord willing, we'll make more content and talk about the struggles and the trials and some of the trials you don't even ask for in a marriage, but you still face. And we'll talk about how we face things or things that we have faced and what we did, what we should have done.
Right,
So.
right. And you'll find that on our Facebook page, on our personal page, we don't really put out a lot of content about our family and our marriage. And, that's because I never want to give people a false idea of what life is really like here at the Cootie House. And it's wonderful most of the time, but I don't want people to look at our marriage ever and say, I wish I had their marriage. I want you to be so inspired and encouraged by the things that we do and the way we live that you say, number one, we serve an awesome God. And then secondly, I am so blessed in my marriage too. So yeah, to get people to the point to where they look at what a biblical marriage is and say, you know what,
this is how our marriage is working, and I wish everybody had our marriage. You know, that's what we want you guys to say. So let's end with this challenge. I'd like to challenge the husbands to include your wife in something that you usually don't. Whether it's an activity, whether it's a hobby, whether it's some sort of chore, however you want to word it, just include her in that part of your world.
That's good. And that's funny because my challenge to the wives was going to be take an interest in something that your husband enjoys. And so to be completely transparent here, mine is going to be motorcycles. So Joe really enjoys motorcycles. I have very little interest in that, but I know that if I invest that time, it's investing that time in him, not in a thing, but in him. And so who knows, going back to learning new things, like we talked about in our earlier clip, you know, we'll learn new things, and who knows how the Lord will use that knowledge. So,
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.